Welcome back.
I know. I feel like
you've been in the low country.
I've been in the low country. I've been in Texas. I've been all over. I do have something to tell you about my Texas trip.
When were you in Texas?
A week before last.
I don't remember that at all.
What?
Oh yeah, you were in Houston.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Okay.
Yes. So we did it road trip style. Just drove down and came back up. And on our drive back home, I've said before, I feel like I have a tiny bladder and I've got to pee. Okay. So we were in one of those random, like, middle of nowhere Texas towns. And I see a little gas station. I'm like, Micah, just pull in here and I'll go pee here. The same time we pull up, a car pulls up with a man in a ski mask. And I'm looking at Micah and he's looking at me. And I said, I don't want to pee here. I think they're about to get robbed.
Are you serious?
And a guy got out in a ski mask and we just...
Did you call the cops?
It happened really fast. There were multiple other people there and we just left and we were stressed and we also were trying to confirm with one another.
Did we just see what we...
Was he really going to rob the place?
Oh.
It was kind of chilly out. Maybe he chose a ski mask as face warmth. I don't know. I have a lot of questions. I don't...
Did you check the
I didn't
local
hear...
paper?
I didn't hear of any robberies happening in that area after we were gone, but it just didn't seem like the proper time to go
You need
pee.
safety when you pee. You need to feel secure so that everything can release, you know?
I was about to just go in our car in
know,
that
after
moment
you
when
saw the ski mask.
when my eyes met the man in the ski mask's eyes. I just have never had that happen before. I don't know if maybe you've had
I
scenario.
have never witnessed a robbery.
Oh,
But
man.
that guy is ballsy doing that in Texas. He could be dropped dead before he even
I know
gets in just for wearing a ski mask.
Don't I know it? So these
Just
two
don't
guys,
wear a ski mask.
I will say the guy that was in the passenger seat did not have a ski mask on. So if this was a planned thing, someone could have described him and they would have, found him. Either
So
way,
you may or
I may or may not have
witness.
seen a robber. But I'm feeling like I did. I think we're going to say I did see a robber.
That would have been so
'Cause
scary to
also-
come out of the bathroom.
Oh, I would have.
You would have peed all over.
I would have done it again. I would have found another gear and it just would have went
Your
everywhere.
second bladder would have emptied.
Yeah. But it really scared me.
I'll tell you something scary that happened to me.
Oh, okay.
I was on a trip while you were in Houston. I was with some friends, and one of my.
What do you mean? You
I was
have
with
other
some other friends,
Oh,
and one of my friends was friends with this chiropractor I used to go to.
okay.
So I started going a couple years ago to this amazing chiropractor. Mm-hmm. He was just amazing. Like, I felt like a new person.
Wow.
And Andrew started going there, and other friends started going there because he was just
I
so
think you
good.
referred me to this chiropractor in the
probably
beginning of our
did.
friendship. I do remember
I
that.
probably did because he was such a good chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
He was extremely moody, though.
Okay.
An example, one time I went into his office and he did not say a word to me until it was time to pay. I'm not kidding. It was just like we walked back, he adjusted me, took my card, no words were spoken.
Did you ask him anything?
He was either talking your ear off, like he was either in a good mood or like super moody, and it was a really small office. He worked there by himself. Occasionally there was like a front desk girl.
Okay.
But there, usually when you showed up for your appointment, it was just you, which was in a nice part of town. I wasn't concerned that he was, going to rob me or anything like that.
Rob you or get really aggravated and be like,
Yes.
this is the last time I adjust her.
So there were a couple of instances in the beginning, all throughout the time that I saw him, at least 2 or 3 times where I had an appointment, there was a confirmation for the appointment, I show up and he was not there. So this happened once when I was pregnant with Dot. I was like 28 weeks pregnant, dying to get adjusted because, you hurt when you're pregnant. And I show up and his office is just closed. And I had gotten a confirmation text, and I was ticked because I'm pregnant. It was the summer. I have drugged myself out of my house, my pregnant self out of my house. And he's not there. I'm like, that's weird. So that happens again right at the beginning of the pandemic. I have an appointment. I have a text. I show up. His office is closed. So I sent him a scathing email. I think an email, and I've left a message. And I said, this has happened too many times. I want my money back. I'm not going to come see you anymore. This is ridiculous. Like, I let him have it. And then afterwards, I was like, I was maybe a little bit rude. Dang it. If I ever run into him again, it's going to be super awkward. Of like, so you're that young, that woman who left me the message. So we're on this trip with one of my friends, with some friends. And I ask her, I'm like, hey, because the other day I drive by his office and it's gone. It's not there. And I'm like, well, probably because you never see your patients. So I ask her, I'm like, hey, what happened to him? Because she used to go to him too. She's like, oh, he's a cocaine snorting narcissist. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, he had a cocaine addiction.
Is he in jail?
He lost his license. I don't think he's in jail, but I was like, the man who had my spinal column literally in his hands was snorting cocaine. And she's like, yeah, he had an addiction. And and I was like, so I turned to her and I was like, I feel 100% justified for sending that scathing voicemail.
Jeez, no doubt.
Yeah, but I also told Andrew, I'm like, was he high when he adjusted us? Because he could have broken my neck. I feel responsible for the people that I referred him to. He could have killed them.
I'm so glad that I didn't go to your referral.
Don't take my recommendations. I've seen another chiropractor since. He's wonderful. He's not doing good. But the funny thing is,
give it some time.
This chiropractor was always super uppity about if you chiropractors kind of are, they're kind of, you guys know.
I don't know that I know.
Yeah, they're natural. They're just, chiropractors just kind of sometimes come across as like they're better than all other doctors.
Okay.
Every chiropractor that I've met.
You don't have a good chiropractor.
A good recommendation. But he was super natural, and he was always kind of uppity about, oh, you eat sugar. Like, because he was like super fit. He was a very attractive man. Okay. But like, you eat sugar. And I'm like, you do cocaine. So
you eat sugar, I'll sniff it. That's the difference in us.
Like, you have the audacity to get on to me about a
That's
cupcake
crazy.
When you cocaine, sugar. Are you kidding me, sir? So anyway, it's a shame because he was such a good chiropractor. But
it was lost one of the greats.
But afterwards, she tells me that, and I tell Andrew, I'm like, Andrew, our chiropractor was doing cocaine. And he's like, are you kidding? No. So I don't know what happened to him, but I hope he gets his life together, But I mean, he can't be a chiropractor ever again.
No, I'd say he's done for sure. But
as he should be. But now I'm like, that's why you were so moody.
Well, yeah.
And
that's why he was randomly gone. He was like, hey, I know that I said yes, but I gotta get my next fix.
I know.
So I gotta get out of here.
I know. So anyway, I didn't see a robbery, but my neck was almost broken by my crack snorting chiropractor.
We are experiencing some wild things today. I had something happen actually this morning. It did not involve robbery. I thought it almost did.
Okay.
But it for sure didn't involve cocaine. So Everly is really into Toy Story right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. She loves it. She loves Woody. She loves Toy Story. All of them. So I needed to get some laundry folded or like taken out of the dryer. So our house is not, huge. It's, couple rooms away. And so I turned on Toy Story. So she was watching that. We'd been playing. So I was like, okay, this will be enough time. We're talking barely 5 minutes for me to go move wet clothes to the dryer, take the basket into the other room to be with her so I could fold the clothes. Mm-hmm. In this short span of time, I walk back in the room and it's quiet.
That's the first sign that something is wrong when you have children.
And I'm looking around. I'm like, Evie? Nothing. I'm I'm like, okay. And because normally I can hear her like piddling around in her room or doing something, okay? I hear nothing, like true silence in the house. Like I stopped the movie and she's never done this. And so I start kind of freaking out a little bit. And of course, tragic images are running through my brain. I'm like, did she pull something over? Something fell on her? Is she trapped? But then she would have screamed. I mean, having this whole inner dialogue going on, and I'm like going in our room. But the thing is all the doors are shut in the main rooms. And so I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And she just started taking steps. So she's walking-ish. Like sometimes she'll want to walk somewhere and sometimes she just crawls. Either way, it's not a quiet occurrence when she does either thing. So I'm yelling for her, cannot find her, and start to panic a little bit. I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I have our doors locked because I'm thinking no one came in.
Yeah.
And again, I just walked into the other room. And also, like I said, we don't have a big house. It's not like I've lost her in the east wing of the home. And so I'm like, Henry! And she's not responding or anything. And so the room that we sit in right now, which is the office, and has lots of equipment, as we can
call it the studio.
The studio has lots of expensive equipment around various places. You can find it. There's just, computers and cameras and everything. And I opened the door and she's sitting in here. She opened the door? She came in, opened the door, closed the door, sat in here.
Silently.
And was... Yeah. And when I told Micah later, he was like, oh, she was for sure being quiet because she knew that she wasn't supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
And because anytime she crawls in here, we're like, no. And we leave and close the door. She opened the door, came in, closed the door, and was sitting over near where you are and was just going through papers and handed me something. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what a rush. Just
my mom.
Oh my gosh.
My mom is the oldest of 5, and her brother, when he was 2 or 3, wandered out of the house for a few hours. They were looking all over for him, and there was a creek, like woods behind their house. And my granny was dry. Oh, and it was my papa was supposed to be watching him, and he fell asleep on the couch, and he walked out of the house. So she's furious. And just driving down all the roads looking for him. And finally, they, by the grace of God, they found him. And he was just, my mom says she remembers, he was just covered in scratches and just crying. And he was trying to, yes. But Dot, last Thanksgiving I guess it was 2020, she opened our screen door. Oh my God. She was so short. Tiniest little thing, and I guess it didn't latch all the way whenever people were going in and out. She walked out on the porch, and my dad's coming up. Thank God,
yeah,
and caught her. But she this week now has learned how to open interior doors. And this morning, I go in and cleaning the house, and she's just decided that it's time for George to wake up from his nap, and just opens the door and waltzes on in there and wakes him up. And I was like, Dot. Luckily, I was about to get him up, but I was like, Dot.
Okay, good.
You don't ever come in here and wake George up. Never. She's like, yeah, Baba. I'm like, no.
Oh.
You are not in charge. You are not in charge of him waking up. But it's scary when they can learn to open.
Yeah, apparently we're doing that now.
Open doors, and you need to tie a little bell to
all the doors in the house.
Yes.
That actually, I did that as a child. My dad would work nights and he would be with me during the day, and he fell asleep once on the couch and woke up, and the screen door was open, and it was to a main road that we lived close by, and he went out, and I was halfway down the road, diaper age still. I was in a diaper, and he had to run out and go find me. I'm like, oh God, which our house, we have lots of stairs leading up to our house, and so I'm like, oh God, no, we can't. That's a long tumble for Emily to go out. And so I told Micah, and he was like, all right, I'm Amazon priming some
door, a cage.
Yes, the little knobs, the rubber things that you can put on. And we're doing some baby proofing because I thought we didn't have to do that, but apparently Everly's going to show us otherwise, because otherwise I thought someone came in and took her man. I don't know what. So
it's scary.
That was a fun morning. Yeah.
Well, allow us to introduce ourselves. We went right into
We had things
to say. I haven't seen Holly in a while, so we had some catching up to do. I am Sally Dale.
And I'm Holly Feltz.
And this is the Why Can't We Be Friends podcast. And before we get into the rest of what we're going to talk about today, we need to apologize.
We're so sorry.
To the Spotify listeners. It's actually not our fault.
It's not.
Micah, our producer and Holly's husband.
It's also not his fault.
He has been, and I know because I have access to the emails, he has emailed our posting company and Spotify. You know, I don't ever use this word. Literally every week because they will, it's not posting correctly. Spotify says it's our hosting system. The hosting system says it's Spotify problem. Listen, nobody wants to take the blame.
It's he said, she said situation.
But it is not our fault. So we are sorry.
We're so sorry.
We're really sorry.
So if you listen on Spotify, I know every week there's a handful of people who will message us and say, I don't think it's up again. It's still not up. And we're doing everything that we can because obviously we want you to listen.
I know. But if you want to listen to it right when it comes out, Apple is working.
Apple is
working.
Of course they are.
They're reliable in this instance. And it's also, that is the place where reviews really help us out. So if you are new to listening or you've been listening for a while and you want to leave us a review, that's helpful to us.
Apple Podcasts is a place to do that. But also if you're a Spotify listener and you're like, I refuse to touch Apple Podcasts, you can also watch us on YouTube.
We are, yeah.
Because we're live on film.
We are. And that's the end of the episode. No, I'm just kidding.
So thanks for listening. Definitely
close
recommend us.
With. Oh, man. Okay.
But we had some housekeeping to address.
Well, we had some housekeeping for the podcast, but also some actual housekeeping in our lives. You didn't clean out a closet because you were gallivanting around the Low Country.
I was down in Savannah.
But I
having some biscuits and grits.
That sounds good. I did clean out a closet. And I also, last week, we started a cleaning challenge. That sounded like Holly farted, but that is her jeans. I don't know if you can hear that, but
this is why you don't wear jeans. Right here. My leggings never do this to me. Leggings never betray me the way that denim does. It
sounded like you just ripped a huge
jeans.
Fart.
This is what I get.
Wow, that's where we're at in our friendship. You're just ripping them.
If we're ever at the stage that we're recording a podcast and I'm, quote, ripping a fart in the chair, I don't know that I should do this anymore.
We've gotten too familiar at that point. I don't want to know you in that way.
I don't want to be ripping a fart around. Every time I move, I just hear the squeak of my jeans.
Oh, man.
Okay, we're just going to have to live with it.
Anyway, you were gallivanting around the Low Country.
South.
So you did not get to participate
I didn't.
Yet.
I'm going to, though.
So we started a cleaning challenge for spring. You can join our Facebook community. There is a link in the show notes and on social media if you're listening. And we are going to be posting little challenges to do weekly, posting what we're doing. And then there is a chance for you to win some fabulous prizes.
Fabulous.
We haven't posted about the fabulous prizes yet because
you don't have
Holly's
to know
been
everything.
gallivanting around the Low Country.
The Low Country. I've been in the South and I have not got to pick a closet. What closet did you pick?
I did my pantry.
Oh,
it was bad. My pantry is a closet.
Oh, so modern.
It's a closet. But listen, it's not like walk-in. I mean, technically you could stand in it, but it's not like a walk-in pantry. I don't want to give the impression of wealth.
I lost my child in a wing of our home today.
It's just like it's a cubby with shelves and shelves.
Okay.
But I was looking at it the other day because it's one of those rooms where we just like open it and there's plastic bags on the floor. Mm-hmm. There's like a cup of spoons fell and has been there for a while.
Just a cup of spoons.
Random dog food kibbles. Just some stuff, just some weird random stuff. And so finally I was going in to shove more something and I said, this has got to end.
Enough is enough
right now. And so I took some stuff out, which luckily last year I did a really thorough deep clean of my pantry and pulled everything out. And I could not believe I had expired food that moved with us. I packed it and moved it from
It took effort.
Yes. I'm like, why do I still have this rice from 2013? And I packed it and moved it. So I got rid of that. I got rid of little like cupcake things that someone had given me. I think cleaning out a closet really is a coming to reality with yourself that you are not going to suddenly become the person
You want to
you
be?
want to be.
Or you think you want to be.
And it's time to let those dreams die. And I'm looking at these cookie cutters and I'm like, do I need seasonal cookie cutters do I ever make sugar cookies? Do I need a pack of 30 icing tips? Do I ever make royal icing? The answer to all of these questions is no. And I'm at the point, like, we've been married 10 years. If it didn't happen within the first 5, it's not going to happen now.
I think that's valid because I'm like, look, if all I've got is today,
Yeah.
what do I need in this day? Probably not half the things that I think that I do. Like you said, icing tips. Now I'm curious. It's not enough to justify and say that this was a closet that I cleaned out, but just my baking area of my kitchen, which is kind of, I love to bake, but it's just really stuffed in there. Like I have to put things in really quick and then I shut the door. And then anytime Everly comes in the kitchen, I'm like, no. Like we can't open that one because it's over. There will be sugar and flour everywhere. And I'm like, I really need to get a hold on that. But it's so funny to go through, even like my clothing closet, to open it and be like, I'm not going to wear any of this. I wear the same 3 things. We all know it. I'm not wearing any of this. We need to donate.
Yes, when I'm shopping, it's like I'm shopping for the person that I think I want to be instead of the person that I am.
You shoot your
I'm like, and then I get and then I'm like, I have no shirts. And Andrew's like, what are all these clothes you just bought? I'm like, that's a different me that I am not prepared to be today.
It's almost when you're in that element of I have nothing, that's when you should shop. Whatever that you will buy.
Yeah.
Whatever
that's the truest you.
The one that is just not satisfied with anything in the moment. That's who needs to go to the store and get real flustered about everything.
Yes. And I don't know, I have a problem getting rid of things that people, well, not everyone, but certain people have given me.
Okay.
I could see myself under the right circumstances being a hoarder, holding on to things with sentimental attachment.
Yes.
And Andrew, we were throwing away Dot's toys the other day because she just, you just get all this crap.
Just crap.
From these children. I'm like, we don't even play. So he's throwing away. It's a Peppa Pig plush my sister got her, and she got it cheap. It's not even like, it's not like a handmade Peppa plush.
It's a TV character.
It's mass produced in China by who knows who.
Yeah.
Hopefully people making fair wages, I tell you that. But anyway, it's not nice.
Yes.
And Andrew's like, we need to get rid of it. I'm like, no, it's her Peppa. But my sister, and he's like, hun, she never plays with this. It's a cheap plush.
Your sister probably wouldn't even remember buying it.
Your sister does not care. And I'm like, and I just can hold on to things because someone gave it to me. So one of my friends who listens to the podcast was text me, and she's like, I'm feeling convicted about I need to clean my home. And she goes, is it bad to have 2 closets in your house dedicated to gift bags?
Oh, no, yes. We got to clean that out.
And I said, yeah, you don't need all those. But she said, I just have a hard time throwing away because of who gave them to me, like the memory of it. And I'm like, I can relate to that.
I can't.
Not gift bags, but just things. Like I can hold on to things for too long. Case in point.
Oh, she's brought a prop. Wouldn't you know?
Okay, this is a Valentine that my granny gave me.
Oh.
In the year 2000. It has a chocolate.
Do you want to eat it
that
right
I
now?
never ate.
Should we eat it right now? And by we, I mean you. It's not my gift.
a 22-year-old chocolate,
Go ahead, take a little bite.
but it's from my granny.
I
can't get rid of this.
That
And
is an exception.
I never ate the chocolate.
think that that's sweet. I have a card from my Meemaw. That was a birthday card that I have saved.
I have every card my granny. I brought them in a box.
Oh, just,
I have every card she gave me.
would like to take a moment.
But
of
this
silence.
one, I can't get rid of this.
I want you to eat that chocolate.
It would ruin the card, Holly. That I remember other kids at school getting this card, and they did eat the chocolate, and I'm like, ugh, you wasted it. I'm also the kid, like, I'm not cutting the tags off my Beanie Babies. They're gonna lose all of their value.
Oh my gosh.
And I still have my Princess Diana Beanie Baby, and that is my retirement
My
fund.
We'll go ahead and cash that in soon. Before you gotta get out while you can on those, because they're gonna lose their value. We growing up, both of my parents they're not hoarders, but basically. My mom would be like, I am not a hoarder. Well, I feel as though your collection of things says otherwise, but my sister kind of adopted that trait from them, and then I get the bad rap in my family that I just throw everything away, which isn't true. Like I just said, I have a card from my Meemaw.
Yeah.
But I just can't. It makes me feel like I can't breathe, and that I got to get out. I can't do it. Just throw it away. Just get rid of it. And Micah is the same way, and he has mentioned the same thing. Like his parents held on to things and kept things, and so now he is like, he's worse than I am. Like I keep more things. He'll just be like, nope, throw it away, and I'll be like, that's Everly's birth certificate. We can't throw that away. Like there's not a balance, but. No, I specifically remember once that my sister had given me a gift. So I'm opening the gift bag, and hanging on the a tag hanging on the bag was like a little like Target, the little letters. It's like a thin, it's not even wood, but it's like the little wooden letters. They're like $1.95 or something. And it was my initial. And while I was throwing away the whole bag, and she was like, "Are you not going to keep that?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." She's like, "Well, give it to me. I'll keep it. It's cute." And I thought, this is too far. You've taken this too far.
Yes.
It's the same. It is a Target tag. And I appreciate my letters, but I don't need to be reminded of my initials all the time. It doesn't mean anything.
What are my initials again?
A, B, C, D. Either way. So I'm like, I am really process it and think about it. Is this truly something that could be passed down later or will be sentimental? Especially thinking with like kids. I'm like, is Everly going to care that I saved this for her? Or is she going to be like, I think this meant more to you than it did me? Okay, great. Toss.
My sister-in-law saves wrapping paper. Like opens it
Carefully.
Wow. I don't do that. But there are people that, see like a nice cardboard box and they're like, that's a nice box. I could use a box like that. And then
That's my dad.
yeah. And
Not necessarily cardboard boxes,
but like, oh, those are nice. Like a small, I could make.
Yep.
And I think you have to be realistic with potential projects and then what you're actually going to do. So I'm a crafter.
Yeah, you are.
I'm creative. So creative. I buy crafting stuff for the potential of what it could be. And then when I do a clear out, I'm like, what am I? I have all these dreams. I'm going to make 7 quilts. And I'm going to buy all the stuff. I'm going to become a sculptress. I'm going to go ahead and buy all the stuff. I'm gonna make loomed beaded bracelets. I'm gonna buy all the stuff. I'm not starting with the beginner. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go. What are the professionals using? Those are the supplies that I want.
Yes, and I'm all in.
And I'm all in. And then I love getting the stuff together and the ideas. And then I don't finish it. So this year, I am trying to be intentional about not starting new projects until I have finished my other ones and going through my stash of projects and going, am I going to actually finish this? Or do we just need to toss it?
I think it's even better to go, like, take what you're doing and then even thinking about how you mentioned all of the cookie supplies that you owned.
Yeah, I really thought I could be a great cookie decorator.
Okay, over the next few weeks, am I going to learn how to make different types of icing, and then who am I going to give these cookies to? Like almost
Because I can't eat all of them.
I mean, I could. I shouldn't. Almost making a plan for the whole thing. And same thing, I did the same thing a while back with painting, which I will say I made a commitment-ish to where it was like I started something and I was doing it, and I am the same way with buying things because that's the fun part to go and get all the supplies. I was like, well, what's the top
Because you
tier?
could be, you still have potential at that point. You haven't realized that you suck at painting when you're buying the supplies. You're thinking I could lay line on this paper right now that could be unbelievable.
Maybe a prodigy.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
And so instead of going, okay, I'm going to get, excuse me, I'm going to sign up for an online class and I'm going to take it week by week. Instead, I'm like, get all the supplies, put them in the cart, $200 and something later at Michael's. It's fine. It's worth it. It's an investment in myself, and I'm probably very gifted at this. I'm going to bless a lot of people with my art. And then in my closet, if you open it, there's wonderful paints that are in there. I have a big easel. I have canvases. I have all the things, but I don't do much painting anymore. I get excited about things and then I'm all in on it and then I'm all out on it at the same time.
So Andrew a couple weeks ago was talking about we both have this same problem that we have a lot of ideas, but it's the execution of the ideas. And really the execution is the most important part.
It's like seeing the idea lived out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually the most important part. And I get stuck in this phase of thinking, I'll see something I want to do, and I think, well, I have to have that in order to do it. And then once I have that thing, then I can really. So, like, you have these wall calendars from that girl Instagram. You can link that in the show notes.
Yes.
I saw your calendars and I was like, oh my gosh, Holly is so organized. I need those calendars, and then I can be really farting over your chair. And then I can be really organized. And then once I have those framed on my wall, you just cannot even believe how organized I'm going to be. I'm going to be able to see my whole year. And then I got them, and nothing inwardly about me has changed. And Andrew goes, just because you have the tools and the supplies that someone has, it doesn't mean that you are now
that person.
Like, I can put on a firefighter uniform and it does not make me a firefighter.
And all you're going to do is be like, God, this is really heavy. I can't do this. So he was talking about when he wanted to, there was a band he loved and he saw they used all these different guitar pedals. And so he spent like time and money finding all these guitar pedals, and he finally had his board assembled. And he said when he plugged in his guitar, it was so disappointing. He just goes, oh man, I still suck at playing guitar. I can't sound like them because I'm not them, because I don't have those skills. I actually have to learn how to do the thing in order to play like them. It's not that I have the same guitar pedals as them. It doesn't make any difference. And that's really a hard lesson to learn. It is, but I also think this is a nice tie-in to like what we're talking about with like keeping a clean home.
Yeah.
And how I think for most of us, we're not saying it's first nature to just have an immaculate space and you always put things away. There's never a dirty dish in my sink longer than 0.2 seconds. And I always fold my laundry. What are you talking? People struggle with that. But I think it's taking it like what we're trying to do right now is take it like week by week, do one simple thing towards becoming that, like not becoming that person. No one likes that person. That person sucks. That's the person we can't be friends with. No, but it's pushing us towards becoming like a better version than who we are like right now when it comes to keeping a clean home. So it's like, I may not be great at it, but if I just start with cleaning out my pantry, cleaning out my clothes and maybe donating some things that I don't need and cleaning up the space, that's one more area that I can go,
Yeah.
that looks nice, even if the rest of my house is a pit right now, because that's okay.
Yeah. So I cleaned out my closet. I also had to tidy up my craft room.
Ooh.
And you know this about me, but some of our listeners may not know this about me, this next item that I am going to show.
Oh, you're going to show it. Uh-oh. Oh, this is
Do you know what this is?
I know what it is, and it's so disturbing.
Okay, guys.
You guys really... We
You
want
might
to,
not be friends after
I want you to
this.
come back after the... Don't let Sally represent both of us here.
What I have here
What's in the bag, Sally?
is, let me paint the picture for you.
Paint it.
I'm 16. I decide that I have really long hair. My hair is like to my waist. And I decide, wouldn't it be cool to have a bob? And so I go and they cut my hair and they give it to me because I'm going to ship it to Locks of Love. Well, this is the thing we said I'm bad at, is executing.
They should have shipped it for you.
They should have shipped it for me. They didn't. And so what I have here is a bag of my hair from when I was 16.
It's so gross. It's so gross the way that you're just stroking it.
Sometimes this has moved with me.
Sometimes at night, I lay it on my shoulder and I pretend I still have
I
the long hair.
held it up to go, oh, this is what it was like.
Oh, I knew it.
Sometimes
Sometimes when Andrew's out of town.
Sometimes he takes a lock with him. No, I'm kidding. So this moved with me at least 3 times, and it's just been in a random drawer in my craft room, and each time I come to it, I'm like, do I throw it away? Can I still donate it? And at this
It
point,
looks like it's in good
it
condition,
is great.
I will say.
I had really healthy hair.
Good for you.
But, let's see. This is the picture. This is the picture of the bobs that I was.
Oh, those were your inspiration cuts. I really wish you would have went with the color of the upper right.
We've got Jenny McCarthy and these 2 other girls, except I didn't have bangs or side bangs, so I don't know. Anyway. But now it's at the point where it's just this running joke that I have a bag of hair. And I kind of feel compelled to keep it for the joke of it, that I have a bag of hair.
And this was in your craft room.
I might want to do some crafting.
Have you been talking about making dolls? Is this your market?
Made with human hair?
Made
No.
with human hair.
But there are people who make like I don't want to do it, but who make tassels like with hair, like a keepsake. So this is someone
I will
in
never
my
accept
family.
a tassel from you.
Someone in my family has a lock of their grandmother's hair.
Oh.
I know, and I'm like, babe, do I bequeath it to George and Dot? I leave to each of you a lock of my hair.
my children, a lock of grandmama's
I think
hair.
that's the type of thing they might enjoy someday. I don't know.
I think they'll think that was something that my mom did. That was really glad that she left that for me.
It's also good if I'm ever doing an icebreaker, like 2 truths and a lie.
I have a bag.
I have a bag of hair. They'll tell, obviously that's a lie. I'm like, nope, that's the truth.
I feel
have
like
a bag of
it's
my
so
hair.
abstract that I would be like, I feel like this is the truth, and I don't know why that it is. I don't want it to be the truth.
I'm really uncomfortable with this right now.
I want to go home now. Mom, can you pick
No,
me
guys,
up?
it's just a really cool. It's not creepy at all. It's just a casual bag of hair from when I was 16. It's no big
Quote,
deal.
bags of hair are really cool.
And it's
From Sally
in a Walmart bag.
Well, what else would
What
it
else?
be?
Yeah, it's the perfect receptacle.
Unless you happen to have an old Kmart sack it could go in. That might be more fitting.
Oh man. So anyway, this week, do we want to tell them the second week of the challenge?
Tell them what the second week is.
The second week is time to go through your makeup drawer.
Oh, man.
/ I would also say if you just have like a bathroom drawer.
Yes.
You know, the drawer where there are like toothpaste smears and fingernails, clippings. You know.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's time to go through that.
It's time to get rid of things.
Get rid of the lip gloss that you've had since high school. Clean your makeup brushes. How often do you clean your brushes?
I don't use brushes anymore. That was an audible mouth drop.
What? You're just finger painting?
I'm just doing, I told you I was into painting. Anyways, we got to clean out some things.
Yes.
So it's not over yet. This is only week 2.
This is only week 2.
This is only week 2.
We got a whole home to go through.
Oh, and hopefully you're finding interesting things. Doubt that you're finding a bag of hair. If you are, please do share.
Please, you're my person.
We've got to know. We've got to connect
Maybe
the hair
it's a
people. The hair people have got to be connected.
If you need a wig made from quality,
Sally's got plenty
uncolored,
of it.
I got a full head.
Full head.
Full head of hair.
She has got you covered. All right.
It's just time to close out.
What else is there to say after this?
Oh, I left you speechless.
I heard a.
You left me speechless that you don't use makeup brushes. That's the equivalent. Hair bag, no use of makeup brushes, same level of shock.
Shock all around.
Shock.
The shock around. Yeah.
Oh, many. Anyway. All right. Well, we are glad that you listened. Again, join our Facebook community. Share what you found in your closet. Share. I want to give a prize to whoever has the oldest item of makeup.
Sally's been making these custom tassels, and she wants to give a prize out to somebody who's got an interesting item.
Get it. A lock of my hair.
Oh, this is wild. Well, you definitely want to tune in for next week.
Yeah,
is all I'm saying.
Who knows what I'm going to find next week?
We don't know.
You don't know. There's no telling.
So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please be sure to leave us a review. Hit the 5 stars. Spotify, we still love you. It's not us, it's them.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we've got to say.
We're like, why can't you be friends with us, Spotify?
Yeah.
Anyway, we will.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.